Okay, I guess so far so good with using the tablet, huh? Yeah. Stay upright. There we go. Yeah, that's better, I think. Um, I've been thinking about this video, pacing back and forth, listening to music for the past hour, thinking about what I wanted to say for this video because it was something suggested to me in the comments about a week ago, and it is an important topic, and as far as I know, I don't think any other narcissism YouTuber has done it yet, so I'm going to do the best I can. And it's obviously going to come from a lot from my experience and things I've observed. So it's heavily going to be skewed towards the heterosexual, demisexual male perspective. And the topic for this one is advice for when you're dating the victim of narcissistic abuse. And this video is heavily going to be focused on um, you know, dating somebody who had been previously in a relationship with a narcissist, not so much like someone raised by a narcissist, because it's a different dynamic. I'll get a little bit into that, but it's more about, because parent dynamic versus partner dynamic, it's a different thing. So I'm going to be mainly focused on people who, have been in a relationship with a narcissist or a borderline before. And I've observed it a lot over the years. And as I've mentioned before, I did date one borderline from October of 2012 into the late spring of 2013, and it ended with a bang in my leg that almost killed me. Should have killed me. Not supposed to lose half your blood and still stay alive. Witchcraft. So, but it's this is going to be heavily based on my intuition because I'm going to give my experiences, what I observed. You let me know if it makes sense or not, or if I'm stark raving mad, because I could be. Maybe I'm too far gone and I don't know it. I do consort with demons. And, Anyway, so we'll get on topic now. So some simple advice in the beginning. Someone who was raised by narcissistic parents or a narcissistic parent is going to probably have confidence issues and identity issues, and they're going to have trouble expressing themselves because they've basically not been allowed to be who they really are their whole lives and was told who they had to be and who they had to emulate and struggled for their own identity against that. They're probably going to have some trust issues, and they're going to come from a chaotic family. And don't take it personally, because if you're younger, like a teenager, they're not going to want to bring you home, even if you're just friends, because they don't want people around that shit. Even if they don't know what it is, they know it's messed up and that it's not normal. So there's my little bit on someone who was raised by narcissists. But into the meat and potatoes of this. So you're dating somebody, or you want to date somebody, or you're getting close and it's looking like you're going to start dating somebody who you sense or know has previously been in a relationship with a narcissist or a borderline. What's some tips that I can give, if you're really into this person, to let them know that you're really into them for who they are, and that you're not like their psycho ex, and nor do you judge them for having had that experience, because all these points are important. So if you're dating, and again, obviously coming from me, this is heavily going to be based on a guy's point of view dating a woman who has been in a relationship with a narcissist, because, well, that's my own experience. Yeah. I only date girls, and I'm pretty picky. There's really not that many my type that are single. On the rare event that I do find one, people try to take her away as soon as we get close. Oh, what a fun game. I need to move. But anyway, so some tips I can give is, and this is a general tip you should always do, be open and honest with her about how you feel and what you're looking for. Like, an important question, as I've said before, when you're getting close to somebody or they're getting close to you, a very important thing to figure out from the beginning before you even consider trusting them is, what's their end game? Why are they interested in me? What's their end game? I always do that. And make sure they tell the truth, and make sure they make their own decisions too. It's something I'm such a believer in free will that I assumed everybody did that, but oh, did I learn the hard way. So that's one bit of advice I can give you. Again, honesty, being open about what you're looking for, what you see in them. Be genuine. Don't overly flatter. Anything that can be misperceived as love bombing, because the victim of the narcissist or borderline is going to remember what that was like when they were first getting close to their abuser and how they seemed like a good person. Now, this can be particularly a little bit hard for an INFJ because of our all or nothing syndrome, because either we're into you or not. And if we're into you, we're really into you, and we're going to tell you exactly everything that we like about you, and we're very detail oriented, so we know everything, or we see everything, including the stuff that you'd rather not talk about. But we don't judge you for that, but we're just letting you know that we can see it, and it's not a problem for us, and we will take vengeance in your name if you ask us to. Yeah. We do. We do like to get vengeance and justice for those we care about, especially if we practice witchcraft, because then we can do it without getting our hands dirty. Sorry, I gotta try. This is gonna be dark, so I gotta try to keep it as light as I can when I can. So yes, be genuine and don't flatter. Just be very honest and open about what you admire and like about this person, and make sure you do other than looks. Because should be other things that are important to you, for all of us, and be honest with that. It's not just us demisexual guys that looks are more important to. Well, okay, maybe it is. But be honest about all the attributes of this person that you like. Make sure when you're asking them out, let them know that there's no pressure and that they can say no, because having been with a narcissist previously, they may be accustomed to not feeling like they can say no. And this can be particularly true because narcissists typically target people who have trouble saying no and have trouble setting boundaries, because it makes them easy target. So that person was already predisposed to that before the narcissist, and now after that relationship and really, essentially being a slave to somebody's will, they can feel pressure pretty easily when anybody shows them interest and on the spot and all that. So make sure you flat out say, like, hey, say, you can say no. Yeah, do what you want to do. Make sure you have, like, talked to this person enough that you know their interests and know what they're into, because I would suggest that you ask them where do they want to go and what they want to do, because someone who had recently been in a relationship with a narcissist, they're not used to doing what they want to do. They just do whatever the narcissist tells them to do. They get so beaten down in that relationship that they stop even trying to, have any say in where they go, what they do, or even what's okay in the bedroom, to be honest, which is sad and infuriating. And I feel the fury coming thinking about things, but that's simply the reality of somebody who was the victim of a narcissist or a borderline in a romantic relationship. So try to get them to pick where you're going to go. Show them that you're interested in their interests and that you want to do things that they want to do, because what's important to you is simply to spend one-on-one time with them, to, have that deep conversation and get to know them. That's your goal. Yeah. They're not used to that. And depending on the age of this victim, and their dating experience, maybe they never had a healthy relationship. Maybe, because when you're a target for narcissists, that's usually a pattern that repeats itself, especially if you don't know what a narcissist or a borderline is, because you got to know what you're up against to fight it, or to know the red flags, or to know if they're targeting you. Not everybody notices patterns. It's an intuitive thing. Not everybody's an intuitive. And some people, even that are somewhat intuitive, don't trust their intuition because they're so beaten down by narcissists that they think, I can't be right. I'm overreacting. It's not that bad. This is normal, or I don't deserve better than this. Yeah. So do what they want to do. Let them set the tone of the date. Like I said, make it known that you just want to actually be able to talk to them one-on-one and have a deep conversation without people interrupting. Don't pressure them when you're out. Don't try to go too deep in the conversation. Let them set the tone of it. Don't let them think that you're fishing for information, because if you've been in a relationship with a narcissist, you know that they fish for information to use it as ammo. Perhaps you two really do have chemistry, and the victim of the narcissist will want to be open and honest about the messed up things he or she has been through. And if she confides in you right away, that's, I would say, a good sign. There's one thing you got to be careful of. First and foremost, show them genuine empathy, because that's something that they never get from the narcissist or the borderline, because they have no empathy, because they only care about themselves and what they want and getting it at all costs. So show that person genuine empathy about what they've been through. And if you understand, narcissistic abuse, borderline personality abuse, you know how that person who's been abused by someone like that is going to downplay their abuse, and they're going to say things like, oh, it's okay, or it's really not that bad. Let that person know that what they went through is wrong, and they shouldn't have had to have gone through it, and that it's not their fault. If you care about this person, you should be able to convey that to them, and they may confide in you other messed up things that they've been through. Again, empathy is key. You may, if you care for this person, might get mad for them, like mad at whoever abused them. Hold that back, because someone who's been in a relationship with a narcissist is only used to narcissistic rage. So they equate all rage with narcissistic rage. They may not understand what righteous anger is. So anger against, like, oh, I care about this person, and they were with somebody who treated them like property and didn't respect their boundaries and exploited them sexually, and now I want to go knock his head off. They may not see that that's righteous anger, that person, monster, would have, they have what's coming to them. They, the punishment fits the crime kind of thing. They just see, oh, anger, narcissism. So be as empathetic as you can. Especially if usually, and a lot of times, the victim of a narcissist is empathic. Make sure, if you are being empathetic, give them as much time as they need. If they start to break down, hold them, let them know it's okay to cry. Even if you're in public, just don't give a shit. Do what I would do. Just don't give a shit. You let that person know that their pain is all that matters to you at that moment, because you care about them, and that is something the narcissist would never give them. The narcissist in that situation would be on them about, making a scene and making them look bad, because everything's about their image and what people think about them. And, you're my arm candy or my prize or my slave. Yeah. They usually don't flat out say slave, but that's really what they want. So, let them know that even if they're breaking down in the middle of a public place, that their pain is all that matters to you, and you don't care who sees it, and tell them to take as much time as they need. And also, guys, this may be hard, especially for some of us that were raised not to show emotion. If you care about this person and you're an empath, and you're taking in that pain, you go ahead and cry with her. You show her how much it upsets you, because that'll let her know that it's okay for her to be that upset, because you're upset too. And someone who's been a victim of a narcissist is basically conditioned to take their cues of what's okay from other people, because the narcissist essentially controls every aspect of their life, and they don't know what's okay and what's not, or who they are, or what is socially acceptable in any situation, unless the narcissist tells them. And why do they get like that? Well, because eventually they get like that because the narcissist freaks out every time that something doesn't go their way. So they would just be constantly waiting for approval from the narcissist. If the person is familiar with narcissistic abuse and borderline personality abuse, just in general, like they know what a narcissist is, but they don't know the tactics and narcissistic abuse recovery and all that, you can subtly bring up channels like mine where they can come to and find, validation for what they went through. It might help. It helped me. It's helped all of you here. So it's, some people don't realize that there's more people that went through this than they think, because even me and most of us here, most of us in this community at one time, especially if you're my age or older, at one time you thought you were the only one that you know, something was wrong, but it had to be you because you couldn't explain what was wrong, but people were mistreating you. You knew something wasn't right, but you didn't know how to put it in the words. Well, fortunately, there's plenty of channels out there where people's stories like ours get validated, and you learn that, you know, these monsters exist and how they operate, and that's how you prevent patterns from repeating. It's important to a victim of a narcissist or a borderline is going to have like no boundaries sexually. So it's very important, if you care about this person, to try to set boundaries even if they're not there. And what I mean by that is, you know, this person may think that any act of kindness or empathy must be repaid with sexual favors. Do not let that happen if you care about this person. Talk openly, you know, about sex, and find out what she does like and what the narcissist did that she wasn't okay with. Ensure never to do that, and be sure to let her know that you would never pressure her into doing anything sexually that she was uncomfortable with, because victims of narcissists, typically the narcissist gets off on exploiting them sexually and getting them to do things that they don't want to do, but without saying no. Like a narcissist will get off on on a girl crying but going along with something that the narcissist wants, when he can tell that she's not into it at all and isn't comfortable with it, but that just turns him on more because he's that sick. And that's a level of control he, you know, aspires to have over this person, like complete dominance, to be the master. I told you in other videos, watch it. The narcissist is not your partner, they're your master. It's an important video to watch. It has almost 1,000 views, and it's not that old, which for this channel is pretty good because I'm a nobody. Let it be known to the victim that she can ask you whatever question she wants and that you'll be open and honest. Like I said, it's very important to talk openly about sex and what you two are into, and let her know that, you know, you're all about taking care of her needs, that she's allowed to ask for things, and it should be just as much about her as you, and that you're in no rush for things to head to the bedroom, that you genuinely enjoy spending time with her and getting to know her, because she might have such little confidence and self-esteem from being with a narcissist that she may think that the only reason anybody gives her any attention is because she's pretty and people want to take her to bed. That might be what she's conditioned to believe. I'm amalgamating about 10 different scenarios that I've observed and or been in over the years to make this video. So it's a little bit trying to remember things from a while ago and not so long ago. Be open and honest about if you want to see them again. Let them know what you're all about. Let them know how you really feel. If she's divulging stuff that she's not proud of, follow suit and do the same. Let her know that she's not broken, that everybody goes through shit at some time, and, you know, let her know your secrets, the things you're not proud of, that times maybe you are played like a fool. And hopefully she won't do that to you if you're open and honest, but there's no guarantees. Be aware, if you're getting close to somebody who's a victim of a narcissist or a borderline, that there's a good chance that they're in the sights of another one, because again, it's a pattern that tends to repeat itself. And be aware that the one that they might be in the sights of, you know, may know who you are and what you're all about and see you as a threat to their supply. So the slander may be a coming hard, and there might not be anything you can do about that, even if you try to tell a person, like, I think, you know, this person, they got some pretty sick motives here. You might want to look out for that. But the victim might be so conditioned to be so worried about what other people think that they might go along with it because that's the pattern of behavior that they know. They may think that you treating them right, how they should have always been treated, must be something that's too good to be true, and that you have some kind of ulterior motive, when in fact you're just genuinely into that person and you're treating her the way you would treat anybody you care about. So be aware. You have to be very cautious and figure out where boundaries should be when you're getting close to somebody who's been with a borderline or a narcissist and may have never been in a healthy relationship. Above all, trust your intuition. Do what you think is right, not what you think you should do, because what is status quo? Listen to your intuition. Hopefully, it doesn't let you down, but at least you know you listen to yourself and not what somebody told you to do because tradition and status quo, because that usually doesn't go good. Show the victim of the narcissist that you, unlike the narcissist, have both empathy and integrity, and stay in touch with the person after you go. Let them know, let them know that you can see them for who they really are, even if the victim has a hard time expressing that person, the person that they want to be, not the person that the narcissist conditioned them to be, but the person that they want to be, that they are now struggling to express. Let them know that you can see that person and that you want to help that person and empower that person. Again, even if you do everything right, it can go wrong sometimes. Narcissistic abuse is hard to overcome. Some victims don't want to believe that, it was that bad, because that means they have to be like, well, how did I let this happen? How did I let this go on so long? So they'll try to normalize it, and then the pattern will repeat itself, and it's just messy like that. So I think I got my point across at least enough, the best I can. I'm really, shooting from the hip here, trying to remember as much as I can what I think is pertinent. Please like and subscribe, watch older videos, especially if you're watching this video. You should watch why the narcissist is your master and not your partner. If you're watching this video, they kind of link together. And please continue to watch the older videos. Let me know in the comments what you think of this video. I think I got some good points in here, but I'm really just going from intuition and memory on this one. So you let me know if I nailed it or missed completely. And remember, victims need time. It may take time for this person to realize that they do deserve better and how wrong it was, how they were treated. Make sure you give that person time and you don't expect them to get over that abuse like that, because narcissistic abuse, it gets better, but it's something that you never completely overcome and never completely get rid of. That's why it's so important to let this person, who may be an amazing person, know that they're not broken just because they fell under the spell of a narcissist or a borderline, because they're monsters, and a lot of them are good at what they do. That's how they get as many victims as they do. That's why all of us are watching this video right now.